Hi, it's Diane with My Sacred Circles. Welcome to part 4 of the Runes, Major Arcana, and Bible series. This is where we take the Heimdall Et and we put it into a Bible story. And I felt like the absolute most appropriate one for Heimdall was Noah and the Ark. And really, we are talking about a hailstorm that's destroying everything. And I felt like, well, that's like the flood. I mean, forget the Tower of Babel. you know, we've got Noah. So I look at Hagalaz as when God actually says, oh my gosh, what have I created? It's sort of like Frankenstein, where they look at the monster they created and said, there's destruction everywhere mankind is walking, and I need to right my wrong. I'm just going to wipe everything out and start from scratch, because everywhere man has walked has tainted the earth. So this is his decision to wipe the earth clean. Now these is, okay, God says, oh, wow, hold on. Here's Noah. Noah, this is creative problem solving. He's unraveling this knot. He's looking at the earth and he's saying, God is saying, okay, I don't have to wipe out everything. I've found Noah and his family. Noah really represents goodness in this earth, and maybe all is not lost. I can salvage. There's something to be salvaged, and so I am going to, come up with a way. And so this is when Noah is identified as worthy, and that he has grace, the grace of God, and is chosen to continue humanity. And he's given the mission to build the ark. And so this is what he's going to do in order for, so like, if you think of this as, this is the path and this is what needs to happen, this little speed bump, it's like, okay, I'm going to destroy things are really bad. Okay, if he builds this ark, then we can continue on. Now we have Esau, which is the freeze, the delay, like it's reflection and stuff. And so this is the time where really it wasn't a total freeze, because Noah was very busy gathering all of the animals. But this is the time where the animals are being gathered, and his family, he and his family are getting on the ark, and there's rain and rain and rain. And so this is sort of like a time where, I'm like putting a little too much into the period of Esau, but it's like he's gathered the animals and they're on the ark. Yera is, now this is the 1 year, and it's patience. It's interesting to me, like we always say about the 40 days of rain, but he wasn't on the ark for only 40 days. And so there were 40 days of rain, but then you had to wait for the waters to subside. And so Noah was actually on the ark for more than a year, slightly more than a year. So this is the 40 days of rain has happened, but he still needs to wait. So everything that's happened, there's nothing he can do but wait. Everything, it's just sort of like in that waiting game. He still needs to continue what he's doing on the ark. And he now has other things he needs to do, but it's just a waiting game before he can actually still go back. That is that movement towards spiritual enlightenment and going from the physical to the divine, right? And here, mankind is presumably wiped clean. So Earth is sort of waiting to be elevated. So, it's really the earth being washed and like a rebirth for the earth. Perthro is, if you think, I love the imagery of this for what happens in the story. If you think of the line as the ark, and you think of Noah, each day, like, he was instructed to send out a raven and a dove. And the raven went out and didn't come back. Presumably, ravens are carnivorous, and there are a bunch of dead bodies out there, and there's probably a lot of good stuff that ravens can feed off of. But the dove is not. The dove is, an herbivore, and it needs a place to land, and it needs the growth. And if it has nowhere to land and there's no growth, the dove is going to come back, right? So this to me is, there's an unknown. Here's Noah on the ark sending out the two birds, and both go out. The one comes back, one doesn't, So this is the unknown. You're trying to figure out what's out here. I'm on my ark and I need to know, when is it safe? So that's the unknown. The next we have is Alys. And Alys, to me, I said, it looks like a lot of different things. And one of them is, it looks like a bird's foot, like a little paw print of a bird. Another is, it looks like a branch of a tree. And another is, it looks like someone asking for help, like, help me, like rising, like. So Alys is, you are protected. You have protection. Someone has your back, right? Well, that dove every single day went out in search, and every day Noah, waited for the dove to return to let him know, what the results were. And every time the dove would come back, until one day the dove came back and brought an olive branch. And then, so that means there's now growth on the planet. Things are coming out of the ground. You can see more than just water, and there's actual growth. A place for the dove to make a home, And then he sends the dove out again, and the dove doesn't return. So the dove has now made a home. So it's now indicating you can go back. And so this is the dove, and him aiding and assisting you. And then finally we have the sun. And the sun I associate as the covenant. And normally I think of this covenant as a horrible, horrible covenant. I do not want to think of, oh, don't worry, next time we will not destroy you by water. I'll never do that again. Next time it'll just be by fire. That does not give me comfort, I gotta say. It's not a very comforting thought. But I do think of the son as the son, in this story, there's victory, there's success. You can now make land and the covenant with the rainbow, the rain and the water, and the sign that he will never flood the earth again to destroy mankind. So that is how you can remember all of these runes in story of the Bible. Hope it helps. Namaste.